wanted to do a training today on 5 things that I didn't know before becoming an international #1 best-selling author in 10 categories, which is absolutely incredible. Super excited. I can't believe that it happened, but I want that for you. I want this joy, this momentum, this experience for you as well. So I want to share 5 things that I didn't know before becoming an international #1 best-selling author, but also 4 badass benefits to becoming an author, because I didn't know this either. So feel free to ask me any questions, and if I don't answer them live, then I will answer them later. This is going to be a really amazing training because I wish that I knew these going into it. So #1 is that it doesn't have to be hard. I've always wanted to be an author, but I struggle to write. I have a lot of fear around that, and it just feels so daunting and tedious to write an entire book. Like, it just feels like something that's going to be never ending, and it's going to be really stressful, and so it would keep me from doing it. But doing a collaboration is a great way to start because it wasn't hard. I just wrote a chapter, and it was a concise summary of my experience, and it was like one little dessert, one little appetizer of my life, and so it didn't take up so much time. It didn't have to be hard. In fact, it got to be easy because the publisher kind of gave me the template of, okay, here's what we're looking for, here's the theme of the book, here's the audience, here's the target, and she walked me through it. So if you're looking, I actually have 2 publishers that I can always connect you guys with depending on what you're looking for, but Blair Hayes is the one who I published my first book with. She is magic too. And it was the most amazing experience ever. It couldn't have been easier, in fact. So #1 is that it doesn't have to be hard. I would highly, highly recommend that you start with a collaboration because you have other women who are posting and sharing the book with you and for you. We had so many posts. They were going wild yesterday, and it was really, really fun. And also, it wasn't just all on me. There's kind of a team of us, so definitely starting out with a collaboration. And #1 that I didn't know is that it didn't have to be hard. I expected it to be way harder than it was. So if you have that pull on your heart, say yes. Tell me, and I will help you. #2 is that my audience saved my booty. Building an authentic audience, a ride or die audience, is going to change your life, especially when it comes to anything where you have promotion. You guys know I was recently nominated for Most Influential Woman of Sierra Nevada. Voting is still open until September. With that being said, the audience, it's dependent on votes. And so my audience is going to determine whether I make it to the top. My book and having launch partners and people who are willing to share, and many of you in this group did, so thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys being willing to share got more eyes on my book, which meant more clicks on the link. And the more clicks on the link, the more Amazon is like, whoa, 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 we got an amazing book. We need to start moving it up in the charts, and we need to start showing it to more people who are curiously browsing online for a book that they might want to buy. So if I didn't have an engaged audience and people who are ride or die, and they were waiting for me on launch day to throw, oh my gosh, I didn't get it until 9:15, and I had people by 6 a.m. Where's the link? Where's the link? Where's the link? And so thank goodness that I've already spent time building that really authentic audience because they showed up for me in such a powerful way. And also, whenever I dropped a post, people commenting and liking and resharing that post, it boosted me in the algorithm. It showed it to more people, more engagement, more clicks, all of the things. So #2, build that audience. Super duper important. It did save my booty. A lot of people, they're like, well, I don't want to have all the little tiny small talk conversations with all of the people. But when it comes to sales and referrals and selling your book and things like that, the people who are going to promote that for you are the ones who actually have that connection with you. And so what I've done a really good job is I have my assistants do this now, but for the past 2 years, every year I wish everybody happy birthday. And on Facebook, for example, it will have, whose birthday is it this week? And I go in and say, happy birthday. I hope you have the best day ever. Happy birthday month. Celebrate. Massive love. Blah, blah, blah. And so every year, everybody, the thousands of people on my Facebook are getting a reminder of hey, Ashley is cheering me on. I'm always in their feed, loving on them too. And most of the time it is me, but I also have my assistant do it too because I don't want to get spread too thin. And so they know that I am ride or die for them. And so they do the same thing for me. And I was just so emotional thinking about it yesterday, and just how honored I am to have this super amazing audience. So I'm really glad that I built that before I did these amazing things like the award and this book, because I really needed them. That was #2. #3, I want to talk a little bit about how the bestseller status works. I had no idea about this. I would see people say #1 international bestseller, #1 bestseller, or best-selling author. I just thought they were all the same thing. I assumed that if you got to #1, you were a bestseller. That's actually not how it goes. So there are 10 categories max when you submit a book. There are max 10 categories that you can choose from And there are a lot of different variety of categories that you can choose from, but you can only do 10. So we ended up being in 10 categories total that we took number 1 in, which is super powerful. But we were a bestseller. I think if we're like in the top 5, we're considered, or top 8, I think we're considered a bestseller, but we're not a number 1 bestseller until we hit number 1 spot in all of those categories. So I became a best-selling author within like 4 hours, and then became a number 1 best-selling author in all of those categories officially this morning. So there is a difference. I thought that was really interesting. So we're also an international bestseller, and we're pushing kind of currently to number 1 international best-selling author. I'm okay if we don't get to number 1. I don't have a lot of people in an overseas market, but we're still considered a bestseller, which is absolutely amazing. And it's cool to know now when you look at somebody's profile, if it says number 1 bestseller, you know that they really made the push all the way up to the top, not necessarily to like I think it is the top 8. And it was really amazing too, because in the category of personal transformation and spirituality, we actually made it to number 1. Then it was Gabby Bernstein. Then we had Brene Brown, Daring Greatly, and then there was Wayne Dyer, and I forgot the book that he had. So to be ahead of those authors was like the biggest manifestation and honor ever. So this gets to be so exciting. I definitely cried. I was completely kind of like emotionally hungover, and I don't even drink, but I was emotionally hungover from all of it. It's so exciting, and I was so honored to collaborate with the other girls and do an amazing Zoom before and after too. We were all so pumped. So highly recommend. So it doesn't have to be hard. Build your audience is going to save your booty. So say build your authentic audience. Number 3 is how the best-selling status works. And number 4 is passive income. Okay, so can you make passive income from a book? Yes, 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 you absolutely can. I don't know exactly what that looks like, because for this collaboration, all of the proceeds is going to St. Jude's Children's Hospital. So every order goes straight and directly to them, which I am so grateful for, because I know that by selling my book, I am promoting a really amazing cause. So that's one thing that you can do. I don't really know what the passive income would actually look like if it was my own personal book. But I do know, unless you are like a New York Times bestseller, that it's not something you can like live off of. That's what I've heard a lot of authors say. They're like, don't make a book to make money. Put out a bestseller and write a book for the credibility, which is going to move me into number 5, thing that I wish I knew, or I found out after being an international number 1 best-selling author. And that is about the press release and the credibility and everything else that comes after it. So let's talk about press releases, because that's the next step, right? Like, what do you do once you're a best-selling author? I can change my bio. I can include it when I'm talking to people. But a press release is the next step, which is really, really nerve-wracking, because that's when you send it to the newspaper, to your Channel 2 news, to anyone who will listen to the radio stations. And, you know, they always want to celebrate somebody who's local. I live in Reno, Nevada, the biggest little city is what we call it. And so to have like a local celebrity who promoted this book and is an international best-selling author, it's a really big deal. So that means I'm safe with my social media audience. Like, I know you guys, but to get my other people's eyes on there, like in my city from high school and elementary school, and they're like, oh, I know her. That's really scary. But that is what this whole process is about. I'll have like a bonus number 6 in here. Things I didn't know is how healing this would be. How healing it would be, I share my story, little pieces of it, like being single mom on WIC or taken away by social services, the trauma that I had as a child. And it's safe to say in like a pop-up video, but to have it in a published Amazon purchasable book, oh my gosh, like that's something totally new. I'm like, ex-boyfriends are gonna read this, my family's gonna read this, my husband's family's gonna read this, and they're from Afghanistan, so they're really traditional. Like, what are they gonna think? And I had all these limiting beliefs, so I had no idea how healing it would be to not only get my story out there, but to stand in my power unapologetically and say, yes, this is my truth. And I have full permission to step into my power and step into my truth. And that gets to be okay. And it gets to feel safe. But you betcha, I had to move through a lot of emotions to get to that space. So the next step is the press release, which I will be learning about that and sharing it with you guys as well. And what that looks like, I'm going to be focusing on that today. And then I'll be featured in the news. Okay. It's nerve-wracking, but I want this for you guys because this is how we grow, right? When out of the comfort becomes our zone, that's when the magic happens. Okay, so those are actually like 6 things I wish I knew or I found out after being an international #1 best-selling author. It doesn't have to be hard. Build those authentic relationships. How it works in the first place, passive income is an option, and you can give it away to a nonprofit if you would like, or to your favorite cause. And then you have the healing that's going to happen, and then you have a press release. So let's talk about, once you have all this promotion and you have this title, basically, as best-selling author, what are 4 badass benefits of being an international best-selling author? So #1 is credibility, of course. You get to put it in your bio. Every time someone announces you on a podcast, they're going to say, oh, she's an international best-selling author. That's amazing. You get to put it on anything moving forward. And so that credibility is also, people are going to want to feature you more, right? You're not just some coach who started a business in her living room. You are someone who has actually taken action and like risen through the ranks. And it's this form of, and it takes energy, right? Like, this isn't something I just got lucky. Like, I had to do the work, I had to do the research, I had to find the team in order to get there. And so that credibility is going to make people are going to see me differently. They're going to look at me differently. They're going to check out my website and be like, damn, like, this girl has her thing. And I know this, and I can say all of that because I look at other people that way. And now I'm just really honored to step into that for myself. And again, people are really excited to feature you when you are an author. And if you don't even know what to talk about, you get to talk about your chapter in the book, which is really exciting. So #2, badass benefit is you get paid more. So you get paid more to be featured, to give talks, to, what are some other things? Like to do collaborations, I almost said to sell your books. But that's not totally true. But you do get paid more, and even for your programs too, right? We can buy someone from a backyard coach, and that is totally okay because we all have value that we're going to offer to the world. But we want to pay someone who has the credibility, who has the title, who has the experience. And for some people, it's like, oh, the 10K months, like we were talking about in class, like the sacred 10K months or the sacred 6-figure year. And that's great. Those are milestones that add credibility. Doesn't change your worth or your value because you're still awesome. But it is very similar to like being a doctor or a lawyer. Like, that status is really going to have people add that credibility to you. And forgot where I was going with that. So you do get paid more, you get to charge more. So that's a badass benefit #2. Oh, that's what it was, is maybe you don't hit your 10K month or your 6-figure year, but what you can do is say, I'm a best-selling author. And all you did was share your truth with the world, which is one of the most courageous things that you can do. So that is a title and a credibility that you can have, even if you aren't hitting like 10K months or 6-figure years, etc. So badass benefit #3 is promotion, because with the press release, that is huge. You're going to be out there in the world, but also your social media people like sharing, getting their eyes on you, and with their stories, their reposting or whatever that is beautiful exposure, beautiful promotion for you. Any website that you have or a course that you're promoting, like the momentum that I have built up around this, there are hundreds of people who have supported, and I'm like, wow, this is absolutely incredible. So it's not only me promoting myself, but it's other people promoting me too, because they want to see me succeed, whether that's my local news station or that's my person who's been in my Mediocre to Magical Facebook group, the Academy, for years, and they're just so proud of my growth and they want to share that. So the promotion is huge and the momentum is just extraordinary. And also you get to sell more books too, because people, they're like, oh, multiple best-selling author. Wow, this person must be really great. So now when I write my book, I'm already a best-selling author. People are going to say, damn, of course I want to jump on that train. Like, she's going to have amazing content. She's already done it once. So that's a benefit. #3, promotion. And then #4 is recognition. That is really, really cool. Secretly, I hope all my ex-boyfriends get to read my book. Even though I have really great relationships with all of them. But you know, and like even my parents who have completely disowned me, and my mother told me, she looked me straight in the face and said, you're not the daughter I deserve and I want you to leave. And that was really painful. And so I think part of my motivation climbing to the top has always been to prove that I'm worthy of being the daughter that she deserves and being badass. And that's the gift that she gave me in her rejection with that abandonment. So I wouldn't take it away from the world, but if she were to read that book, she's going to see my truth, and she's also going to say, that's my fucking daughter. And maybe she won't. That's okay. but still recognition, and people get to see you in a powerful light of like, wow, look at her, amazing. I'm just so impressed and proud of her for what she's doing, you know, no matter what that is. Whether it's your parents, it's your friends, it's your family, it's whatever ex-boyfriends it gets to be. I'm like, I'm gonna send him signed copies and be like, hey, wishing you the best. Just kidding. I thought about doing it, but I won't. So those are the 5 things I didn't know before publishing a book, and then also the 4 badass benefits. I'm so excited to go full speed ahead and teach you all of the things that I am learning along the way. I'll keep you updated about the press release because this is really exciting for you guys. And you know what? You can do it right now. You don't have to have a 6-figure business, a multiple 6-figure business. You don't have to have some huge, crazy pain to power, triumph, and tribulation story. You get to share your story. And I have this amazing platform for you, which is the She Is Magic book series. They're looking for authors for number 3 and 4 and 5 and beyond. Yeah, it gets to be easy, and I want that success for you guys too. So wishing you an amazing day full of amazing things, and I'll see you in the group. Bye.